Welcome back, everyone. So I have changed a little bit with the script. I've tested it, wanted to make sure that this video would go smoothly because I'm going to show you guys how to use your controllers for the HTC Vive to get input. Now I want to first bring to your attention the documentation that I'm using as a guide. So first off, we have the link. Hopefully I can make this nice and large for you. I'm going to go ahead and copy that into my script, even though that's really not the reason why I'm bringing it to the side of the screen. I just want to make it big so you can read it. So this is the link right here, and this will take you to the documentation if you need that. And what I'm doing is kind of like down here, it shows you how it was done the old way and then how it's done with the Vive input utility. So I am using the Vive input utility documentation. And there's a ton of stuff that you can look through, but we're just going to be focusing on the trackpad, which is this right over here for right now. So let's get started. We're going to keep track of, rather than using our keyboard and taking the horizontal and vertical axis, we're just going to use our trackpad to get all the data we need. So we have a vector 2, and this is going to be called controller trackpad input. Really, you should call this like right controller or left controller. But since we're only using one for this demo, I'm just going to call it controller trackpad input. Now previously, this is what we did to get our forward and our right vectors, and we're still going to do that with the camera. But what we're not going to use is we're not going to use the horizontal offset and the forward offset. In fact, let's go ahead and comment those out or delete those. You know, I'm just going to delete them. I'll be good. We don't need those anymore. And so all of a sudden, these are popping up as errors. Good, we want that. Because it's going to make things a little bit easier for us. So what we're going to do now is redeclare those variables down here below this line, which is new. So I've written a line, controller trackpad input equals, and this is the part where we're getting the input from our controller. Vive input.getPad touch axis hand roll right hand. So I've only got one controller plugged in. It is the right hand, so it's going to activate whenever I touch the touchpad. And this returns a vector 2. So if you look at it, vector 2, that's what we're looking for. So I'm going to save it as a vector 2. And then instead of doing forward offset, I'm going to do controller trackpad input dot y. That'll be my forward. And then for my horizontal, I'll do controller trackpad input dot x. So that was it. That was the only change we had to make. We'll go into play mode. We'll try this out, make sure everything is working. I'm going to go ahead and put on the headset so I can feel all the motion sickness if I made a mistake. So if I press right, it's going to move me to the right. If I press left, it'll move me to the left. It does depend on which direction I'm facing. So if I move my head, it doesn't move like that. So I'm going to press up now. And it only moves me in the direction I'm looking. I'm going to press down. It'll move me back. So this is really going to reduce the motion sickness by a huge factor because it's going to feel natural which direction they're moving. They'll always expect, hey, if I press right, I go right, press left, I go left. It doesn't matter which direction they're facing. If you're implementing Locomotion in a game, I mean, I haven't done Locomotion in a long time, so if there is motion sickness, I really should be feeling it right now, but I'm not feeling a thing. I'm not developing any headaches, I'm not developing any problems. So this is how you want to get your game moving in terms of Locomotion, and it's really simple. So for those of you who didn't watch the last video, I know it was like 18 minutes, I'll go through the script real quickly. So we have access to the Vive Rig transform and the Vive Camera Eye transform. So in the hierarchy, that is the Vive Rig here and the Vive Camera Eye over there. And we're creating a vector 2 called controller trackpad input, which is from when they press the trackpad over here. So what we need to do is get a reference to the camera's forward vector every update, and then the camera's right vector every update. And what we're going to do is, because this is the easiest mathematically to do, is just remove the y component from those two vectors so we don't start floating on accident, and then multiply this forward vector by our y coordinate on the touchpad, and then multiply the right vector by our x coordinate on the touchpad. And this is just like a standard graph. So if you touch up here, you'll get a positive value. If you touch down there, you'll get a negative value. If you touch to the, what is that? That's the right. You'll get a positive value, negative value on the left. Real straightforward. So this vector 2 is the xy coordinates of where we're touching on the touchpad. And it's anywhere from -1 to 1. Those are the limitations. So the only thing we did not do, oh, I guess we did still do it. So we set our vector 3 by multiplying everything out. And then we do need to normalize it so that our speed is always going to be the same. If your speed starts to change, that'll be a little bit weird, and that might cause some acceleration issues with the person. You'll notice when I add my position, I'm multiplying it by time.delta time so that it's always at a fixed speed of 1. There's no acceleration, it's just an instant change. The speed changes right away. You could change this very easily by multiplying it by some kind of speed float, or you can multiply it by a constant, let's say 5f, and then it'd work just the same. Obviously, we'd be going a little bit faster. Be careful about going faster though, because if you do go faster, it could cause motion sickness a little bit easier. So I'm going to show you 5, and then hopefully I don't get sick myself. This time I'm going to have my controller like out in front of me. So I'm going to go forward, I'm going faster, left and right. It's crazy, but I'm still not seeing too much motion sickness. Being able to go in the direction that I'm looking, even with all these things moving around, it's like absolutely insane. But I'm not feeling motion sick at all because I'm using that best practice of transforming the direction that the headset is facing. So hopefully that helped out, and that's pretty much all you guys need to see for this video. If you're trying to attach all the things in the script, let me show you where I put the script. I just stuck it on the Vive rig because why not? And you really just take the transform from the Vive rig, and then you take the camera transform when you're out of play mode. So this one right here is the camera right here. And if you press play and your headset connects, it's just going to turn into camera eye. It's not a different transform. All right, so thanks for watching. Make some really cool Locomotion systems, and I can't wait to see what you guys make.